What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to pick up where we left off last week, and we're going to continue working on our case studies. Let's go ahead and just jump into this project and see what we can get done today. Alright, so like I said earlier in this video, we're going to continue where we left off last week. Over in our case studies, we got this index page header done, and we just have our case study listed out right here. Not in this video, but soon we will be working on how we display the rest of these case studies here underneath the header. But for now, we're going to start working on the actual case study page. We already did the header for the case study itself, but now we are going to go ahead and work on, I'll show you. We're going to go ahead and work on this section of our case study right here. So it's just going to be the like the overview for the case study. So let's go ahead and jump over into the code. So I've already got the server up and running, as you can see. And in Atom, we're going to need to get our case study and then the Zachary R. Newton.html. And this is where we are going to begin working with the overview part of it. So first thing we're going to need is we're going to want a content wrapper for everything that's going to be in this case study. So let's go ahead and make a div with a class of case study content wrapper. So if you remember in our blog post page, let me just go to it real quick. This is essentially almost the same wrapper here. So this wrapper that all this stuff sits in, it's got a max width of 800 pixels, but I think we're going to bump this one up to 1,000 just to accommodate for all of this stuff here. I don't want it to feel too cramped, so I'm pretty sure that was the measurement before. So now that we have this wrapper here, we're going to style this in a little bit. But the first thing we're going to want up in here is the overview. So let's make another div inside of here with a class of overview. All right, so that's good. Now, inside of this overview, we have a couple different sections. We have like this main section here and this side section right here. So that's how we're going to be splitting these two up. So let's go ahead and inside the overview, let's make another div. This one's going to have a class of main. And then underneath that, we're going to make another div with a class of side. Perfect. All right, so inside of this main section, let's see what we got. We have three different sections. We have like this little bio, then we have the challenge, and then we have the result. So let's go ahead and make those. We're going to use paragraph tags for that. So we're going to write P with a class of bio. And underneath that, we're going to write P with a class of challenge. And then underneath that, we're going to write P with a class of result. And we'll go ahead and we'll fill stuff in here in just a minute. Let's see, what should we do? All right, so let's go ahead and just start working on this side real quick. This side. Now, I think I mentioned in a previous video that these share buttons they're not going to be these icons. We're actually just going to write them out with plain text. I feel like this just distracts a little bit too much from the information I'd rather them be seeing first. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to make a unordered list for this, and then we're going to make an unordered list for the scope of work, and then this is just going to be a plain anchor tag down here. So inside of our side, we're going to write a UL. And let's write in a bold tag here, let's write share study. And then underneath there, here's where we're going to write our list items. So we're going to have an LI. We have 2 of them. And then inside of our LI, we're going to have an anchor tag. We can go ahead and close those off. And let's see here. I know we're also going to want this to be target blank. Yeah, target blank. Just like that. And now we can go ahead and this is where we're going to put the URL for this specific thing. I'm not going to go through how we're going to add that in right now, but this is just basically, it's going to be a link to the page via Twitter and then via Facebook. I'll probably make a video later on showing you how to make those links. So we're just going to skip the href for now, and let's just go ahead and write Twitter, my bad. And we're going to write Facebook here. Okay, so if we save that and refresh this page over here, we should just see, I'm pretty sure the words Twitter and the word Facebook somewhere. Yep, there we go. Share study, Twitter, and Facebook. So the next thing we're going to want to go ahead and do is we're going to add another UL underneath this one. And now in this UL up at the top, we're going to make another bold tag. And inside of here, we are going to write scope of work. And inside here, we're just going to list out a bunch of LIs. So it's about, let's go see how many there actually is. So it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's make 5 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's go ahead and fill this in with something close to this. Let's just make up what we actually did for this specific one, because that's not the same case study over there. This is going to be, so the first one I'm going to put is web design, and I'm going to use the ampersand, but I'm going to write it, well, we're going to write it this way, so it's going to be ampersand, AMP, and then a colon, development. And if we save that over here, we should see, there we go. So you see right here, you have the ampersand. Underneath that, let's go ahead and we're going to put branding, and then we're going to do the same ampersand, identity, design. In the next LI, we're going to write strategy. Next, we're going to write graphic design, and then we're going to write print. So if we save those, we should see them all appear here. There we go. They're all right there. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do after this UL, we're going to write our anchor tag. So it's going to be a href, and then we can close that for now real quick. This is going to be target blank, and let's give it a class of visit site. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some front matter up here, and this is going to be called site link. And I know the link to this site is literally the URL for our page, because this is my case study for me. So we're just going to do that. And then in the href here, we're going to write curly brace, page dot site link. And let's save that. And this should take us to this URL right here. It's not showing up yet. Why is it not showing up? Oh, we didn't put anything here, right? And then we're just going to write visit site in here. I'll refresh this again. Here's visit site, and it takes us to the right URL. Okay. So now we can go ahead, and that's all of this stuff here. So let's go ahead and write this bio challenge and result in. The first thing we're going to do in these challenge and result divs is going to be a bold tag. And in this first one, we're going to write the challenge colon. And inside this one, we are going to write the result colon. And we should see those over here. There we go. And so I already have this bio challenge and result written out on a piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill that in really quickly and fast forward this because you don't really need to see me writing everything here. All right, so I just wrote the bio in here. I'm sure there's some typos in this and some improper grammar, but I'm just going to go ahead and fix that later. Make sure whatever you end up writing is good though. So now to put this challenge result, I'm just going to be writing these right after the closing bold tag. All right, so we've got these written in here, and like I said, I'm sure there's some grammar and misspelled words, but I'm going to be going over this and cleaning this up before I would actually go ahead and post this onto the live server. But let's just go ahead and make sure this is in here. So this is the bio, this is the challenge, and this is the result. Whoops. Okay. All right. Now we got all those in there. That, if I am not mistaken, is everything that we need in this overview right now. So we can go ahead and start styling this part of the website. So to do this, we're going to open our SAS layouts, and we're going to make a new file here just to keep things kind of clean. And we're going to call this casestudy.sas. So we have case-studies up here. This is just going to be case study, and then now we need to go ahead and import this case study just like that. So now we are ready to go ahead and start giving this some styles. The first thing we have is our case, what's it called? Case study content wrapper. So we're going to grab that, and we're going to give it a width of 100%. We're going to give it a max width of 1000 pixels, not 100, 1000. Let's give it a little bit of margin on the top, 100 pixels, auto on the left, 0 on the bottom, and auto on the right. And then let's go ahead and give it just a little bit of padding, 0 on the top and bottom, and then 20 pixels on the left and right. Let's save that and see if this got shifted over properly. Whenever this decides to finish. There we go. Okay, so this is pushed down and it's pushed over, and now it's no more than 1000 pixels wide, so that is good. The next thing we need in here to style is our overview. So let's grab that, and we're going to give it a display of flex, flex direction of row, justify content, space between, and yeah, let's see what that did. All right, cool, cool. So now we have, because this is grouped and this is grouped, we have the bio challenge and result over on the left, and then we have the share study, scope of work, and the visit site link on the right. Now we need to go ahead and finish making this look more like this. So let's grab our bold first, and we're gonna just give it a font weight of, say, 600. See if we can see any change. There, so now we can see the challenge and the result a little better, a little more clear. Let's go ahead and style that A tag. Let's give it a color of our highlight variable. Let's give it a little transition of all 0.3s, ease, in, out. And then we're going to say, and hover. Color is going to be our secondary variable. Just like that. Now, when this finishes, let's go ahead and check it. There we go. So we have our Twitter, our Facebook, and our visit site. Let's go ahead and focus on this main section right here. I'm pretty sure that's what we called it. Yes, we did. We called it main. So straight beneath this anchor tag, let's grab main. We're going to give it a display of flex, and then we're going to say flex direction row, justify content, space between, let's say flex wrap, wrap, and then let's give it a width of about 70%. Now let's check this out. It's not what I wanted to open. There we go. So this is taking up 70% of this maximum width of 1000 pixels. And inside of there, let's style our paragraph tags. So we're going to give them a color of our primary variable. Let's give them line height of 1.5 m. I don't want them quite double spaced. We're going to give padding of 1.5 m on the top and bottom and 0 on the left and right. And then we're going to say font size 1 and font family is going to be our variable of font stack 2. And let's change the font weight to be 300. Let's see that. Come on. There we go. That's looking much cleaner. All right, let's go ahead and style the bio. So that was the overall styles for these 3 paragraph tags, but now we're going to add a couple specific ones for this bio and the challenge and result. So grab bio, and we are going to write width 100%, and padding is going to be 0.75 m on the top and bottom, and then 0 on the left and right. And now beneath that, we're going to grab our challenge and our result. And we're going to say width of 45%. And then flex, we're going to set to 0, 0 auto. This needs to be nested in here. Now let's go take a look at that. Refresh. All right, so now we've got this sitting next to each other, and we have this little gap in between, just like we wanted. But we are going to we want this to break right after this colon. So in our HTML here, right after these closing bold tags, we're going to write a break right there. Then when we refresh this should break. There we go. Perfect. All right, now let's head back over to our case study and let's start working on our side. So it's going to be right here. We're going to grab side. Inside of our side, we're going to make it a display of flex as well. Flex direction is going to be column this time. Justify content will be space between. And then we're going to say width of 25%. Now I know 25% and 70% for the main don't add up to 100%, but that is the point because we want a gap in between here. Let's go ahead and save that. See if this did anything like we were looking for. Yes, it did. So now we have these spaced out decently, but now we just need to go ahead and continue styling the contents of side. So we're going to grab our ULs and we're going to start styling them with a font family of font stack 2 variable, sorry. And then let's give it a font weight of 300 as well. Line height, that can be 1.5 em. List style, we're going to want none. Padding is 1.5 on the top and bottom, and 1.5 em on the top and bottom, and 0 on the left and right. And then we're going to have a margin of 0. And we're going to grab the LI, yeah, and we're going to use a pseudo selector for the first of type. And we're just going to say margin top 0.25 em. That's good. Let's go ahead and save that and see what happens. No Spotify. Refresh. There we go. That's looking a bit nice. I just said no Spotify. Okay. So that's looking good. What's next? Let's style. This is going to have it's going to have an underline here. So let's go ahead and make that underlined. So underneath this UL, we're going to grab our anchor tag with the class of visit site. And we're going to set text decoration to underline. And we're going to say padding 1.5 em and 0. Okay, now that we have the anchor tag here styled, we need to go ahead and make this a little bit more responsive than it is because that is not readable or pleasant to read either. So underneath this visit site, we are going to write, let's go back to here. We're going to write at media screen and max width of 700 pixels. We are going to change, so we're styling, where is it? We're changing the style of it's not the side. We're changing the overview here. So we're going to change this flex direction from row to column. So we're going to say flex direction column. And then we're going to going to need to grab the main class and the side class, give them both a width of 100%, a flex direction of row, and then we're going to say align items baseline. Save it. Let's take a look at it. All right, so we're going to scrunch this up, and they're switched. So this sidebar is now beneath everything, which works great. And now we need to change it again for when it gets down, a little smaller like that, because that's just not going to work. So this time we're going to write a media query of 500 pixels. And let's grab our main class and our side class. And we're going to give them both a flex direction of column, align items to flex start, justify content to flex start, and then inside of there, we're going to grab our challenge, our result, and our bio. We're going to give them all a width of 100%. And let's set the flex to 1, 0, and auto. Now let's go ahead and check this out. Refresh. All right. So now when this shrinks up, 700 pixels comes along and it pops underneath here. And then once it gets down to about 500 pixels, right about here, there we go, it breaks, and now it's all in one column. Okay, so this issue here of this not being level with this, if we look at this, I accidentally changed the padding on here, and I didn't want to change the padding. I was thinking about something else. So in the bio, we're going to remove that, and I actually wanted to make it flex of 1, 0, and auto, as well as this is down here. So now let's refresh this. Now these two start at the very same point. It's much nicer to look at. The last thing before we wrap up this video is there's a little horizontal roll right here, and we're just going to go ahead and add that in to break up our overview from the rest of our content. So over in our HTML, just beneath, not the case studies content wrapper closing tag, but the overview closing tag, just beneath it, we're going to write a horizontal rule, and let's save it. Now let's go ahead and go take a look at it. So it's right here. It's a little close to this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give it a little bit of styles here. We're going to write H3, and not H3, sorry, my bad, HR, and then we're going to give it a little bit of margin. It's going to be 3M on the top and bottom, and then auto on the left and right. And now this should be pushed down just a little bit from the rest of this content. There we go. It's pushed down just a little bit more, and then it's also going to give us a little more space beneath it when we start adding in our content for the rest of this case study. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off today and continue working on this case study. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if it helped you, and if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below. Until then, I'll see you next week in the next video.